Hello, everyone. Amy Brooks here, International Evidential Psychic Medium and Intuitive Mentor. I'm just coming on for a quick moment because I wanted to share something that has been on my mind, like one of those little messages from spirit, contemplation, something that's been coming up in my awareness, but not only in my awareness, also in the work that I do. So in the readings that I'm doing for other people, the connections I'm making in other people, I'm just even in like our astrology and what's happening in the sky, really all kind of boils down to this one contemplation that I've had. So yesterday I was working on some tarot readings. So back in the end of 2022, I put out this new offering that was a tarot reader. Sorry, not a tarot reader. I'm the tarot reader. A tarot reading for each month of the year of 2023. So every month I sit down and I do these monthly tarot readings for the people that purchase the package. There's 16 people, so I do 16 of them every single month and mail them off. And I've got to know them really, really well because, at this point we've spent 7 months together. And something that I was noticing coming up a little bit in those, but also just in my own awareness, was this real need to surrender expectations. Now, I know personally, me on my life path, I am part of my mission, part of my purpose is in releasing expectations around things, not allowing, the woulda, shoulda, couldas, or the uncertainty of the what ifs affect or impact whether or not I'm going to do something, to just do it anyways. And I know that's part of something that I'm here to learn and something that I have, if I'm very honest, which I always am, I find quite difficult to do. So it makes sense that that's something that I'm here to learn to do as I am learning it. I haven't mastered it yet. And I feel like I connect to a lot of people that have this similar kind of mission in life. And so yesterday I'm doing the tarot readings for my clients, and I noticed in one or two of them towards the end, there was this kind of common message coming in, and it was about doing things for the love of doing them. And so immediately I resonated with this message because it really tied into, the work that I'm doing on a soul level and a personal level. And so I ended up taking a moment and grabbing my handy little notebook here and writing down just a quick little snippet. So I wrote soul guidance, July 31st. And I wrote, do it for the love of doing it. Embody the joy of just doing it. Release your expectations about how and when. The benchmark of your success is not always in the end goal. Often, it's simply in the process of doing. Reacquaint yourself with your why and follow your why as far as you can go. So that really speaks to this. Like, okay, so if we are releasing our expectations, attempting to release our expectations around how it all works out, and we're just like, you know what? This feels really good to me, or this, I'm curious about this, or this brings me joy. And getting to a place of doing the thing because of that, because it brings you joy, then that's a success. Now, just the other day, I wish I had the book in front of me, but this is a spontaneous kind of message, so I didn't bring the book down. I am reading a book called The Inner Sky by Stephen Forrest. Stephen Forrest is an evolutionary astrologer. And if you are somebody that is curious about astrology, The Inner Sky is honestly the best, like, basic astrology book I've ever read, through the lens of evolution, right? So what does it mean to be a Leo sun? What does it mean to be a Capricorn? Like, what are you as a soul attempting to learn? and to be and embody through that placement of where the sun was in the sky when you were born. And so I can't remember exactly which planet he was talking about when I was reading this one bit I'm about to reference, but he gave this story about this, like he uses stories as a way to, he starts a chapter with the story. So you have a mental picture in your mind, and then you can really understand the message of what he's trying to say because you have that story reference, which, by the way, is my favorite type of education. It's my favorite way to learn, and it's how I like to also share wisdom and knowledge. And so it really hits. Anyhow, I digress. He was talking about, he gives this little brief snapshot of a story. There's this woman. She is a waitress. Okay. She's in her early 20s, but she has this dream inside of being a writer. She's a born writer, but she's not embodying that part of herself. She is, almost afraid of it. Often the things that we are really called towards and the things that we are really here to do, we might feel insecure about or challenged by. And that is purposeful. That is almost like a test of the soul to go, but how much do you want it? Anyhow, it's telling the story about this woman, and she decides one day to sit down and just get the words on paper and write a book. And the book becomes like a New York Times bestseller. It's in like every available language in the world, and she can retire from waitressing and live off of, she can live off the money that she earned off of this one publication for the rest of her life. She gets a little bit older. She's around mid-age now, and she begins to feel like she wants to write another book, but this time a book that feels more aligned with her. So the book that she wrote before was maybe aligned with her when she was in her early 20s, or maybe it was like what she thought people would want to read versus like what she really wanted to write about. And so she's like, you know what? I think I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to write another book, even if my publisher and my editor and all of that, all the people behind the book, maybe they are going to say, this is a terrible idea. No, this is what you're known for. You can't go off track and start writing about this. But she decides that she must. And so she decides this, and then she is diagnosed with terminal cancer. This is, by the way, not a true story. It's just a story he gives for, substance and context. And for a moment, she thinks to herself, what's the point in writing the book? No one will ever know I wrote it. But she decides, based on this planetary influence, which, by the way, I can't remember which planet it is, she decides to write it. I think it might be Mercury. I will let you know for sure. She decides to write the book anyways, for the joy of simply doing it. Because even if the world doesn't know she wrote the book, she knows that she wrote the book, right? And so I heard that the other day, and that hit. And then I had some guidance come in for clients, and it hit. And then this came through, and it hit, my little soul guidance that came through. And then today I tear off yesterday's little daily guidance. If you are not watching the video, it's just one of these little daily calendars that you can pull a page off for each day. And there's like a little blurb associated with each day. Well, today's, it says, you have to learn to love and appreciate the process as well as the result. Otherwise, you'll move through life caught up in the stress and resentment of not having the things you desire. So what is all this saying? It's saying that we need to do things for the love of doing them. It doesn't matter what the end result may be. You might be writing that book, even though the world will never read it, but you will know that you wrote it. And so whatever that thing is in your life right now that's calling for you, that brings you joy, you need to move towards it. We need to release our expectations of what it means to do it. And we just need to do it for the joy of doing.